Hello, I'm Brian Landor, an account manager here at EDF, looking after our Crown Commercial Services portfolio. I'd like to welcome you to this short webinar, allowing me to talk to you about CCS and our EDF Site Edition process. What we're going to cover today is what is a Site Edition and when one is required, how to complete a Site Edition, and importantly, how long it will take to get a site added to the CCS framework. So, what exactly is a Site Edition? A Site Edition, in the simplest terms, is a request to bring a site into the CCS framework. They are most often provided on an interim CCS contract, which will be of a wholesale market reflective terms at the time of submission, until such time that a supply can join your next available CCS basket. They are needed when you, the customer, has identified a supply that is currently outside your CCS portfolio, but you now want to have the supply as part of it. Most commonly, site additions are required when one of the following points is triggered and need to be identified or actioned. So all new supplies will need a site addition. A site that's been through a change of tenancy, or sometimes known as a change of occupancy, into your CCS portfolio name, or any supplies that are not currently supplied by EDF or are being serviced currently by our small and medium business or residential teams. I'm now going to show you what information is required to successfully submit a site edition using the link that you can see at the top of the screen. Please note that this is only an example, and I'm using my name as the example contact and company purely for indicative purposes. Okay, so for ease, I have pre-populated this form to make things a little bit slicker, but hopefully to also show you what information will be needed. So starting with the top here, we're going to ask for your personal contact details of who's submitting it. We then move on to asking whether there is one site edition or multiple site editions. In most cases, most of you will find it's just a single site edition, but for those that have got several, if you click onto the Yes tab, it will bring you up a tab here, which I've already opened, and bring you up a nice Excel sheet, which will ask you for the various information in the same way as you would for a single site edition, but you can just duplicate, copy and paste. So if we come back to the no, it will then ask you for your MPAN, who you are as a company. If you're submitting it on behalf of another party and you're a third-party intermediary, you might need to upload your letter of authority here, so you can do your letter of authority. You can provide site reference details for billing purposes if that's for help. Then we just want clarification that the site address of the MPAN you're trying to add is going to match what was held on the National Database of Echoes. And if the billing address is different to that of the site address, and again, some of you out there will want that, all you'll need to click on is no here, and then update your billing address to where you would like it to go. We ideally would like an as accurate as possible annual consumption, or an estimate of your annual consumption. And then we'd want you to fill out if it's a half-hourly site, non-half-hourly, or a UMS site, or if you're using the multi-MPAN form, there may be a mixture of both, so we'd ask you to pick up this one. Again, for half-hourly sites, if there's a KVA on a single site here, you'd need to put in your KVA for us so that we know that we're going to charge you for the right pass-through charges. This part here is purely for half-hourly sites or for UMS sites. If it's a UMS site or a half-hourly site, we'd ask you to upload your UMS certificate here or your half-hourly data that you would hold so that, again, we can get the best available shape. You can provide us with a start date or a next available date, whichever you would prefer. Just for indicative, again, I've put the 3rd of April, which is on 10 days from today's recording. We also ask you to select what your energy source is going to be. Again, this is likely to be in line with what the rest of your portfolio will be. and this shows what the associated pricing for that interim contract is going to be. You'll also need to provide us with the basket option that you are going to go into. Again, this would be linked to your main portfolios. If you're in an L6 basket, as I've clicked on here, you simply click on the L6. And if you're in an October basket, you'd be an L6 October renewal. We then ask you to confirm how you want to pay us or how you want to be set up. Is it DD backs? And on what date, what term? 7 days up to 30 days. Some of you may have consolidated billing, so the site needs to be added to a parent account. Very simple. If you do want a consolidated bill, simply put the parent account number in here, and then we'll set up from getting onto the parent account when you set it up. And then the final piece of the jigsaw is your CCS customer reference number. Now, most of you probably won't know that, but helpfully, we've got this link at the bottom here, which will bring up all of CCS's URNs for you, which I've opened up here, and you'll be able to pull your own URN from column A to add back into the list. When all your information has been added, you can then submit your request at the bottom of the tab, and you'll receive an automated confirmation telling you that we've received your site addition request. We aim to raise all interim contracts within 10 working days of receipt. Once the contract has been raised and accepted in our EDF systems, we would then expect to have the supply registered to us within 5 working days, subject to any objections from any incumbent suppliers, which I will discuss slightly more detail shortly. It should also be noted that we will only raise contracts for energised sites. For any submissions that are not yet energised or are de-energised sites, we will put them on hold until such time as they've become energised. Please also be aware that any site addition request pertaining to a brand new supply, this site addition form would only be related to getting a contract raised. This is not a submission to make a request for a new supply installation. It will be necessary for you as the customer to also complete a new connection request, which is on the slide here too. To assist in ensuring the smoothest and successful of site additions, there are a few things that you should also consider. Has it been determined that the supply or supplies you're adding are not currently on any contract? If they are on contract, all suppliers in the industry will object to the supply from moving. So you will be best to contact any incumbent supplier, that could be EDF residential, could be EDF large business, or any other supplier in the UK, to discuss this, as it may be as simple as ensuring a COT is completed, which will then allow any contractual objections to be lifted by the suppliers. Similarly, it should also be determined if the supply has any outstanding debt on it. Because if it does have debt on it, it is very likely that the incumbent supplier will again object to the switch. You will need to discuss this detail with the incumbents to establish how the issue of debt can be overcome in order to allow the supply to move. Please do, however, be aware that whilst EDF may be able to offer advice or support on any objections, we cannot contact other suppliers to discuss these issues. Well, that's it from me. Thanks for listening, and I hope you've found this short webinar helpful when it comes to your site additions.